Hey, it's Steve. Real quick before we begin, the single biggest thing I've learned about succeeding as an ADHD entrepreneur is that everything boils down to mastering your weeks. So if ADHD is making business harder than it needs to be, I've got something that can help. Grab my free weekly ADHD dashboard. It's a free, simple, but powerful tool to help you stay focused, organized, and in control of your week. The link is in the description below. Hey, Steve August here, back with you for another episode of ADHD Entrepreneur Accelerator. And today, it's a solo episode, and I've been thinking a lot of thoughts. And ADHD brains often think a lot of thoughts, and brains constantly generating ideas, options, and connections, and interests, and hunting for dopamine wherever we can find it. And the thing I want to talk about today is about being in conversation with your brain. So one thing our overactive brain often does is it has a running monologue that seems to be going on in our heads, right? And it's everything from, hey, we've got all these things we got to do, and we got to do them all now, and they're all really important, and they all really need to be done now, and we're already behind, and we're already failing. Might be one kind of monologue. Another monologue might be, hey, you're really far behind where you should be in life, in everything, and you're really not very good at doing things. Yeah. And so you should feel bad about that. And let's see, what other kind of monologues? I'm sure there's probably, as you're listening to this, you're probably hearing other little monologues that your brain has a way of saying to you. It's like, hey, you should be able to do this a lot faster. Like, you've already thought about it. You know what to do. Why is this taking so long? Why is it taking so long for you to do the thing? It should already be done. It should be easy. It should be simple. And that's just 3 examples of monologues our brain is offering us. And it's usually not the most positive thing. And what I've been really, really thinking about is how to be in conversation with your brain. Rather than be a monologue that is going in one direction, it's about having a conversation with your brain. So, if you take the examples of like, hey, you've got this list of everything that has to get done, and there's a big list, and it has to all get done now, and it's all really important, and bad things are going to happen if you don't get it all done, and you're really behind. To take that monologue and turn it into a conversation, right? So the conversation might be, hey, you got this long list of things, and they all have to be done now. And I like to say the opening line is, really, brain? Really, brain? Are we sure about that? Because these things, some of them are important, some of them may not be important, but there's no way we're going to do all of them right now. And why don't we permit the possibility that we can put them in an order, that we're not behind, that we're going to pick a few things, and that'll have to do for today. And we can be okay with that. What do you think about that, brain? And brain may or may not go with you on that. But the act of like actually talking to your brain and saying, really, brain? Is that how it is? Really? Because then now we're in conversation, right? And then it's not just a monologue. And we've kind of created a little bit of space between all of the thoughts and the monologue that our brain is doing and us, right? As a person. And we can question that monologue, and we can engage with it, and we can do with it what we can. So if we say, the brain's on a monologue saying, hey, yeah, why isn't that already done? We just thought about it, and we should already be done with that. Why aren't we done with that? And that's clearly a failing on your part. And you can say, really, brain? Really, brain? Is that the way it is? Or could it be that, yeah, we thought of this really amazing idea, and one of a lot of amazing ideas that we have, and it turns out to do things, it takes actually doing them. They don't instantly happen the moment we think them. And therefore, there's going to be a process. We're going to have to start, and we're going to have to understand where things are going to look exactly like we think they're going to look, and where they're not going to look like they think we're going to look. And we're going to have to work through that, and we're going to have to do iterations, and it's a process. We're not going to be able to redo the whole website in one afternoon. Turns out there's a lot of steps. There's figuring out what it should say. There's writing the copy. There's finding the right design. There's getting it set up on whatever technology it is. It's not as fast. Things don't happen as fast as we think it, right? And that's what our ADHD brains are often trying to fool us into, is the moment we think it, we should already have it done, almost. So being in conversation with your brain, don't let it be a monologue. And also that kind of third one where it's like brain is saying, hey, you're really failing, or you're really behind. You're really, behind where you should be, right? You should be here this far, and you're only this far. And another opportunity to say, really, brain, is that true? Or could it be? Isn't it possible? Isn't there a way that it could be that things take time, and the only way to make things move forward is to go out there and try to do them and navigate the dopamine desert? And there's a reason that we are where we are. And it's not necessarily a character flaw. Sometimes we're up against, not being able to get started. And sometimes we're up against not being able to figure out what it is we want to start on. But if we keep showing up, we'll get there. And our brains are so quick to convince us that, or try to convince us that we're behind or we're failing or whatever. And I have found something that's just really helpful is getting conversation with it. Don't let it be a monologue. And I love that phrase. Really, brain? Really? And it gives us the space to question those things, because when they come out, you'll find that monologue is always speaking in absolutes. It's always, you're definitely this, or they're definitely that, or you're never going to do this, or you always do that. And whenever you hear those absolutes, it's a good place to go in and say, really, brain, are you saying always that we've never done, X, when we, in fact, I can think of 3 occasions recently where we actually made good progress. Or I can think of, projects we finished and things we've delivered and people we've helped. So looking out for those binary arguments of like always or never, it's a great signal to say, really, brain? So that's the thought for today. Just a quick one. I find that this has been really helpful for me, and it's been helpful for the clients I've been serving in my Focus Formula course and in my ADHD Entrepreneur Accelerator membership program. And if it gives you just one little way to come to grips with your brain and develop your relationship with it, then I hope it was of good value to you. And if it was, as always appreciate a 5-star review on your podcast, or a 5-star rating on your podcast platform of choice, or a like and subscribe on YouTube, or a comment. And let me know what you think about this. And if you decide to use that phrase, really, brain? I'd love to hear about it. Anyway, that's it for this episode of ADHD Entrepreneur Accelerator, and we'll see you next time.